Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is our 2026 Baltimore Orioles team preview and prediction podcast. We need a bounce back season from this team this year. Orioles fans need a bounce back season from this team. Luis, how you feeling about the O's in 2026?
How we doing? We doing crab cakes. We're going down to Maryland, eating some crab cakes. Shout out The Wire, Baltimore's finest. Was it Idris Elba in that show? I haven't watched it. But
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so
I've seen it. Quality television. Some say the best show ever made. It's up there. Top 3. Sopranos, The Wire are the 2 for me. I love Band of Brothers, but that doesn't get in that conversation for most people. But Band of Brothers is elite television, and so is The Wire.
I just feel like HBO. When HBO has its fastball, it is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball right there with good rise and good run. You know, that's what it is. I feel like we haven't had one of those shows recently. I think we're all just scrambling, and we got Netflix in the game, and we have Paramount Plus, Apple TV. A lot of teams involved in this, but it's just like the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, I like to classify the Baltimore Orioles as a Disney Plus version of the AL East, a team with high expectations, new to the game, a good collection of characters and franchises as Disney Plus has, and the Orioles, they have all the ingredients to be a division winner, but they fell short last year. But reinforcements are in, new financial investments in. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, has made his way down from the North Pole in New York down to Baltimore, which what's a bear doing in Baltimore? And then they got Shane Baz.
Yeah. They also brought back Ryan Helsley, or not brought back. They signed Ryan Helsley 2 years, $28 million. They gave Pete $155 over 5. Zach Eflin is back for a 1-year, $10 million deal. And they also brought in Andrew Kittredge, Leody Taveras, and arguably, could be most importantly, and I'll get to this a little bit later, Chris Bassitt coming in on a 1-year deal. They traded for Taylor Ward, gave up Grayson Rodriguez. You said they traded for Shane Baz, gave up 4 prospects for that guy, that starting pitcher. Comp balance pick as well included in that trade. And then they also traded for Blaze Alexander and Jackson Kowar. Very active offseason for the Orioles. I had them as one of the biggest winners of this winter's offseason. And now, when you look at their roster, they already have 2 key injuries. So when I read through the starting rotation, they will not include Jackson Holliday, who broke his hamate bone in his right hand, had surgery, should be back sometime in April. Jordan Westburg partially tore his UCL in his right elbow. He's out at least through the end of April, could miss the entire season. So that is a huge loss for the Orioles as well. Their lineup now reads Gunnar Henderson, Taylor Ward, Pete Alonso, Adley Rutschman, Dylan Beavers in right, Colton Cowser, Blaze Alexander, Samuel Basayo, and Kobe Mayo, who's going to be playing third base in replacement of Jordan Westbrook, who I mentioned is injured. On the bench, Ryan Mountcastle, Jeremiah Jackson, Tyler O'Neill is still there, and Leody Taveras, who I mentioned. And when you look at the rotation, Trevor Rogers leads the team. Then you have Kyle Bradish, Chris Bassitt, Shane Baz, Zach Eflin, and Dean Kramer rolling out a 6-man rotation right now, according to Fangraphs. In the bullpen, Ryan Helsley, Andrew Kittredge, Keegan Aiken, Yannier Cano are the notables there. And Felix Bautista is going to be out for the season. He got shoulder surgery back in August. So, Liz, what are your thoughts on this roster?
It's a strong team. I'll just be honest with you. Look, this is a team that last year was one of the teams that we all had high expectations for coming in, but we never got that leap from Adley. Gunnar was great, but the rest of the squad just struggled, and I feel like this year is a make or break it year for some of these guys on this roster. For one, Adley Rutschman, it's a make or break it year. Sammy Basayo is breathing down his neck right there. Could be a dude that if Sammy Basayo has a good, good hitting year and does a good job, managing catching on those off days for Adley, I could see a world where we see Adley move next offseason or even at the deadline if the season goes south. Just adjusting of the team. Aside from that, you added 2 really nice bats who I'm a fan of. I love the Taylor Ward acquisition bat and the Pete Alonso. Those are 2 really nice bats. There's really a good balance to this team. Good lefties, righties, switch hitters, and they were deep making those trades for Blaze Alexander And, Kobe Mayo is a guy who they're waiting for him to click. Look, fully healthy, this team can easily be a top 5 AL team, could be a team that we could both see winning the AL East. Thing is, one, the rotation is one that I'm not a fan of. Shane Baz move was good. It was quite expensive. My issues with that Shane Baz, and we've seen it a lot, and I know maybe moving to Baltimore helps him with the deeper walls, that he gives up a lot of hard contact. I know that was a problem for him in Tampa, and especially in that little league ballpark, spring training ballpark that is George Steinbrenner Field. A lot of home runs would go off of him, and I know you saw it with the Yankees start that I think they tagged him for like 10 or 11 hits, and like it was either really, really good or really, really bad. And maybe the park helps him out, but there's not a true workhorse. That's what they're truly missing. I mean, Trevor Rogers is good, but is he a workhorse? Is Kyle Bradish a workhorse? Not to me. Chris Bassitt is more of a death piece just to fill out the team. There's a bunch of good pitchers. There's not that like one guy that like every elite team has that they can give the ball to.
Chris Bassitt, 157 plus innings in each of his last 5 seasons, and his ERA has only been above 4 once since 2019. He can be that workhorse, that innings eater if they need him. Trevor Rogers was one of the better pitchers in baseball last season, but only made 18 starts, was really good in the second half. Can he take that next step and become one of the best pitchers in all of baseball? And like in that Cy Young conversation, like I think he has that type of upside. Apparently he was at Driveline this winter and the velo is up even more on the fastball. He's a name to watch. He could turn into a true ace in this league this season. And with the addition of Bassitt and Alonso, the expectation on the Orioles the last couple of seasons was, of course, to make the playoffs. And I think the Orioles put a lot of pressure on their young guys like Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westburg, those guys. They put pressure on them to just go out and lead the team, be the franchise players with not a ton of veteran presence. And now they bring in Pete Alonso. They bring in Chris Bassitt. Those guys can now be the star. Alonso can be the star of the lineup, right? And take some of the pressure away from Gunnar and Jackson Holliday and Adley Rutschman. And Chris Bassitt was notable for being such a great clubhouse presence for the Blue Jays last year in their run. He's a veteran presence. He's on the subcommittee for the MLBPA. They have 2 now really great leaders, I think, that'll help take pressure away from some of these young guys that the organization was kind of relying on them to the young guys that the organization was relying on to kind of take them to the next level. And they still are. Like Gunnar Henderson is their MVP candidate on this team, but there's less pressure on him in that lineup now that Pete Alonso is there. So I do think the acquisitions this winter made a lot of sense for on the field and off the field. And I do think this team is set up to succeed this season more so than it has been in years past, especially last season where it was just everything kind of went wrong for them. They have a new manager, Craig Albernaz. He comes over from Cleveland, where he was the associate manager under Stephen Vogt. I think that's another great addition. Should be a good leader for this team. We've seen how successful Cleveland has been with not spending money, and the Orioles, this team has some financial backing now. So I do think there are a lot of real reasons to be optimistic about this team in 2026. And we talked about it. Like they could be one of the best teams in the American League. They really could if everything goes well for them. And these young guys finally like turn that corner and like, okay, now Gunnar Henderson is an MVP candidate. Jackson Holliday is playing to his potential when he gets healthy. Hopefully Westburg isn't hurt for the whole season. That would be a killer. But I feel good about this team.
And I agree with you. I do feel this team can be very good, but again, it all falls again. We've seen this discussion with prior teams, and again, last year where we were bit by this team is like, will the young guys step up? I know we know what we're going to get from Pete. Pete's a reliable contributor. Taylor Ward is also a reliable contributor, but we don't know what we're going to get out of the rotation and what we're going to get out of these young guys. We need these guys to take a step. We need these prospects to be actual MLB contributors. That's where it all falls on. Again, can this team win the AL East? 100%. But again, this is the AL East. It's the meat grinder that is the AL East. There's no easy game in the AL East. It's the hardest, if not the hardest division in baseball. It's up there with the NL.
It is. It's the hardest, I think.
I think the NL is up there. Well, okay. The thing about the NL is that the NL is top heavy. AL, there's more consistent top to bottom. So again, up for debate, regardless of the fact. It's just, where is the consistency going to come, and are we going to see those steps forward from this team? Did they learn from their growing pains last year? Again, they had a really good year 2 years ago, and we expected their growth to go linear, but as we know, it did not. So it just depends as to what we get out. I would like to see them get another arm, but I don't feel like they have the prospect capital at this point, in my opinion. And William deep dived into the prospect capital in there.
It's a 5 top 100 prospects, according to Keith Law. Samuel Basayo, who's been on the team. They have, I don't know how to say his first name, the shortstop Aloy, who won the Golden Spikes Award at Arkansas a couple years ago. He's number 73. Number 78, Nate George. They have Ike Irish, number 85 overall. He's an outfielder and catcher. And then Enrique Bradfield Jr. from Vanderbilt, number 97 overall. He's a center fielder. Keith Law has him as the number 9 overall farm system. They did just give up a bunch for Shane Baz. So it's weaker than it was heading into the offseason. But there is some capital there. They could make a trade. Again, where would they improve? I think if Westburg is hurt and Kobe Mayo doesn't work out, they could go for a third baseman. Do they trade Adley to get an arm? Like, I don't know. I do think they need some more arms here if they want to win the World Series this season.
They need one big consistent. They need a big arm. That's what they need. And I know they flirted around with Framber, but we know the whole Framber deal. That's what they need. They needed that one big arm. And again, I don't want to play future, but again, that's what we do. That's what people like doing. People like speculation. People like to hear the juicy, the hot stuff. Looking at these bad teams this year, I don't think there's going to be that one big arm available. Like St. Louis doesn't have a big arm. Washington doesn't have a big arm. Colorado, God, no, they don't have a big arm. Maybe Miami if you go get
Sandy.
But what's different from Sandy and from what they have right now?
He has a Cy Young.
But what's different? I know he has a Cy Young, but that Cy Young was pre-Tommy John. That's dated at this point.
This is his, second year back from Tommy John? It's kind of the year where they put it all together. And Marlins now have the Kyle Stowers injury, which happened today. We'll see how long that is.
White injury.
They might not be good. They just might not be good. They might regress.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's just what's different, Sandy, from what they have right now? My thing is.
What do you mean though? Because if you add him to this rotation, it immediately gets better.
It does, but is it worth it?
I think so. If they're in contention, another arm for the playoffs. It'd be Rogers, Alcantara, maybe Bassitt 3, Baz 3. They're rave reviews. Yeah, that's true. They did the Kyle Stowers, Trevor Rogers trade.
You know who'd fit? Joe Ryan. Go get Joe Ryan if they really want to do it. Send it. Joe Ryan, I think, could be a frontline guy. I think he can pitch in those big moments. And I've seen a lot of Joe Ryan, and I won't forget the start in Yankee Stadium where he absolutely silenced the crowd. Was it in June? Yeah, it was in June that he just absolutely June or August where he just absolutely silenced the crowd. It was like a Wednesday night that we were both like, yeah, this dude just killed.
Yep. Yeah, he should. I mean, I know he's dealing with the back thing, not going to be playing in the WBC, but hopefully he gets healthy, has a good first half, and should be traded at the deadline because the Twins are not going to be a good baseball team. And the Orioles need another arm. They do. I like the Bassitt edition. And there's a lot of rave reviews about Baz this winter or this spring training. So maybe they turn him around. Again, don't put too much stock in what Shane Baz did last year because he was pitching in Tampa.
And that's what was going to say. Maybe the park really helps him again.
Yeah.
And I know you love Park Factor. That's one of Williams' stats. Park Factor, WRC plus. I bet you Tampa ranked top 5 in Park Factor, top 10 in Park Factor.
It was bad. It was definitely, a hitter-friendly park. It was.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, the Orioles, I know they moved their walls back to a crazy distance a few years ago and then actually brought them in a little bit. Does Pete see a little bit of a dip in home runs this year? Because it's still pretty far out there.
But I think Pete's still feared around the league.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think Pete's going to go absolutely nuke. I think Yankee fans, Red Sox fans are just going to actually have fits. Like they're going to have to now see him more often than that. I could totally see the world where it's September and it is a 4-horse race for the division. And what's Baltimore's schedule in September? Let's look at it.
I'll say also, I think there's a world in which Pete Alonso ends up being the best offseason signing
I completely agree.
this winter. Kyle Tucker, does he care about baseball? I don't know. He can kind of just be on that team. No one's going to really pay attention to him. I don't know. Is he going to be? I don't know. We'll see what we get from Kyle Tucker.
Oh man,
Schwarber could fall off a little bit in terms of home runs. So I think there's a world in which Pete Alonso hits 45 home runs for this Orioles team and is the signing of the offseason. We'll see. It's possible. What's the schedule?
I'll go ahead and say it. Pete Alonso will terrorize teams in September if he's healthy. They open the month with the Rockies in Colorado, and then they come home and play Boston.
Okay.
And the weekend after that, they go to Toronto at Toronto. After Toronto, they play the Mets at the Mets. And then
oh my goodness.
And then they get the Brewers 6-game set, the Brewers, and then
6-game set. Wait, what?
6-game home stretch.
Oh.
They get the Brewers, and then they get the Blue Jays.
That's a horrible September.
And then guess who they finish the season with?
Yankees
at Yankee Stadium. I just see it where Pete Alonso goes nuclear against Boston, and he carries it over to Toronto, and then he goes home. He goes back to the Mets, sticks it to the Mets, and then lo and behold, the Yankees are clinging for their postseason lives for the wild card, and he just comes and goes nuts to finish the year. I can just see it. I could totally see a world that happen.
They finished the season against each other in the Bronx last year. It's kind of interesting. 2 straight seasons they're doing the same thing.
But just can you see that world where Pete just goes terrorizes the AL East?
Of course, he's one of the better hitters in the league. Could be,
but he has the aura and the energy. That's the thing, like that attitude.
I do think he's also going to be playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think the way it ended with the Mets and them not even offering him a contract this winter, and even the year before, like giving him the 2-year deal with opt-outs, where it wasn't like it was a deal where like we don't really want you, we're going to let you walk, but we'll give you this 1-year deal. There's going to be a chip on his shoulder. Like that was the team that drafted him. He's their all-time home run leader. He probably feels like he should have gotten a deal there, and they didn't even give him one. I think he's going to be a little pissed off this season. Pete is.
He's the face of the franchise
for the Mets.
For the Mets. I will be targeting Pete Alonso in fantasy baseball draft. Just putting that out there.
Thank you for that intel. That I will deposit that in the memory.
We'll deposit that. Molnex will be listening. Kayla will see it. Everybody will be ready to go this season. So
over under is sitting at 85.5. Last year they were 75 and 87. Super disappointing season last year. Luis, what's your pick?
I mean, let's look at this team like last year. Again, this team did get better on paper. They started out the year as a below 500 team with April and May going 9-16 and 9-18. And after that, they kind of righted the ship. 16-11 in June, 13-12 in July. August, they were sub 500. In September, they finished 14-11 ball. I think this team's better. Dealt with a lot of mishaps last year. I think they're better. They're slightly better than that 85.5? They're slightly better. I'm still concerned with the injuries. I do want to see some like positivity response in that.
I'm worried about the Holliday injury and that lingering for the whole season, but I'm going to go over. I think this is a playoff team and could be a CS caliber team if they get an arm at the deadline, if the young guys have good seasons. The question, I think, is the back half of the bullpen. Like Ryan Helsley wasn't good with the Mets, but he was in the setup role, not the closer role. He moves back to the closer role. What does he look like? There's still some question marks with this team. The injuries are a concern, but I like the new manager. I feel like it's a better vibe around this team this year. So I'm over.
I feel like this team could be a World Series team. We're at the point in this preview where a lot of these teams, they're World Series teams, except barring a couple that we have left.
It could be, yeah.
It could be the right matchups. Think about it. Say they're wild card 1. They play Central 1 or the Central 1 or the East 1. I could totally see the world where they win that series, and then they get the winner of the AL West wild card or AL West and the other division winner, and then it's who knows what's going to happen with with how the wild cards worked out. I mean, Seattle, you could probably pigeonhole in there. Just, I think if everything goes right, they can get to the World Series.
Yeah, that's fair. This will be a very interesting team at the trade deadline, I feel like.
I feel like this is going to be very interesting in general because if it doesn't work out this year, like this is kind of like reminiscent of the Philadelphia 76ers trust the process teams where they had this stockpilage of prospects and none of them actually, I don't want to say turned out, but like they didn't make it happen. Like Adley Rutschman, I mean, yeah, number 1 overall pick, you expect him to be a star. Star is a questionable term in describing Adley Rutschman. I don't think he's a top 5 catcher right now.
It's the 4th real season of them having expectations. They won 83 games in 2022, followed that up with 101 wins in 2023, lost in the DS that year. And then 2024, it was 91, and last year was a bad season with 75. It's the 4th real go-around with this team, kind of the same players in the lineup with pressure on them. Like I'm talking like Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westburg, Adley Rutschman. Like it's go time here. Like if it doesn't happen this year, to your point, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
When is it going to happen? You said I was 1 year too early on Ellie. I think we're at that point with Baltimore if they don't get it done this year.
So there's real pressure there. I think they get it done though. I think they have a successful season. Doesn't mean World Series, but they'll be good. Yeah. All right, that's Baltimore.
San Diego tomorrow.
SD going out west.
SD. Stay. What is it? Stay happy, San Diego. Stay sunny, San Diego.
From
Anchorman.
Yeah. Stay classy. San Diego. Stay classy, Baltimore. And hope you guys enjoyed. We're both on the over, so we're optimistic. Catch you guys tomorrow for the Padres.